Find your mouthpiece and put on your jock straps. It's the Sports Blitz with Doug and Robbie.
Okay, how long is your show?
You guys have such a great setup.
Listen, if you're under a rock or if you're in a cave, come on out and listen to our episode.
It was fun talking baseball. I love talking Red Sox. I love talking coaching.
I don't care because I would rather there not be an MLB season than have to sit and watch the colossal embarrassment.
Hey, hello, I am Bloom. Yeah, it's Doug and Robbie from the Sports Blitz. I just wanted to find out whether you need some pitching.
There you go. In 5, 4, 3.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Sports Blitz. We're going to kick it off tonight with an episode, a Patriots preview. I'm so excited. But first, I want to say hello to my partner, Robbie. Robbie, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing great, Doug. Doing great. Listen, football season is back. I am super thrilled as always. This is a great time of year, partially because it takes my mind off the colossal disaster that is the Boston Red Sox, but that's a whole different story. I'm not going to go down that road, I promise, tonight. But I am just so thrilled to be here for another episode. And like I said, I'm just so pumped for football season, Doug. First game is tonight. First game is in less than an hour from now. I'm can't wait. I love this moment. I love this time of year, man. I'm fired up, ready to go.
As it is, are you ready for some football?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. And I won't sing for you because it's really bad. But yeah, I'm totally pumped for the season. By the way, I got my Madden 23 last week.
Nice.
So I'm pumping out all the rosters right now, right before I play.
There you go.
And trying to get the rosters all set. You know, the issue with Madden is that you get like say the Patriots. Patriots get players, and all of a sudden they release them, and then they bring them back to the practice squad. Now, in any Madden game, which I think they should add, they don't have a practice squad.
Right.
So you put them back on the team, just don't play them. I don't know. I don't know what to do there. I think they should.
Good question.
Consider that.
Good question.
I don't know. I don't have any idea. Well, anyway, what we're going to continue. We have our continued sponsors for this evening.
Great segue there, by the way. Great segue right there, by the way.
You like that? We have our continued sponsors. We have Zyman Organizing. If you're feeling overwhelmed with a room or a drawer or a cabinet or a closet, contact Zyman Organizing. They will work with you to create, organize, and then maintain. Most important thing is maintaining that space so it stays the way you want it to stay. And you can, it just makes you feel so good about that space itself. It's like, oh, great. Just like Robbie, every time he walks in this room, he opens his sock drawer just a little bit and goes, this is really nice.
Yes.
So if you have an organizing issue, please contact Simon Organizing. Creating a stress-free home. Starting to get busy again because people are coming back from, the Labor Day weekend and the summer vacation, and we're starting school up again. So it's one of those things where, they're starting back up again and it's starting to get a little busy. So please give them. We're going to have in the description section, we'll have a link.
Absolutely.
You can contact them. So
Absolutely.
Please do that. Our second is a guy named Wes Woodson. He does let's see if I can do this the right way. He does a book. There we go.
Perfect. There you go. Yeah.
He does a book. I guess I got to put it in front of the camera. No, duh. It's called I Have Anxiety, So What? He is a master of presentation. He is a person.
He's all over the place too. I follow him on Instagram, and all I see is just he's going here, he's traveling there. I mean, the guy is just making moves right now. So round of applause for him. Absolutely.
Exactly. He's got a great story. and a story of anxiety. He's had it most of his life. He's got a great story, and he's out there telling his story and trying to help people out there. I think it's great, and he certainly deserves to be one of our sponsors because there's a lot of anxiety out there. There's a lot, especially in sports.
Yeah.
People talk about it all the time.
Oh yeah.
We actually had a Sports Blitz episode that all we talked about was anxiety and depression in sports. Check that one out on YouTube. So it's one of those things where it's really important. So it's Wes Woodson. It's I have anxiety, so what? It's the faux pas about talking about anxiety because you're really not supposed to talk about it. And he gets it out there. Let's talk about it. Let's let me tell you my story, and hopefully you can learn from it, and I will give you some ways of kind of dealing and coping and that kind of. So those are our two sponsors for this evening. And by the way, if you are in a cave or you're under a rock,
come on out.
I don't know. I can't. Well, with this kind of conversation, I was going to say, hey, listen to this episode. And I want everybody to listen to every episode that we have, Robin. This was a tough episode to even ask questions for. Even put down questions on paper. We are doing a Patriots preview. And I said,
and you and I are pretty big Patriots fans too. I mean, we're
huge.
not. Yeah. I mean, I'm
Huge Patriots fans.
I'll be honest. I'm not rocking a patch shirt right now, but hey, listen. I mean, I got.
Well, I got a patch shirt and a.
Throw a towel.
I'm a little off tonight. So, I'm a little off every night, but that's that. But still, what it comes down to is that when I had the pad of paper in front of me, and I'm listening to sports radio, and I'm looking at Bleacher Report and some ESPN, and even just doing New England Patriots news. I'm sitting here and I'm saying, I'm so excited about football.
Yeah.
Because I'll watch any game. I could care less. Obviously, we live in New England. I'm a Patriots fan, but I'm a football fan, so I will watch any game that's out there.
Oh, yeah. For me, college or pro, by the way.
Yeah,
or hell, even high school. Like, I'll go to high school games on a random Friday night just because I love the sport. Like, I don't care.
It's fun. It's awesome. It's back. I had a real hard time sitting here. Well, not here, but there. I had a really hard time sitting and actually coming up with questions for our show. And I was sitting there going, why am I having a hard time with this? I am having a hard time with this because there's not a lot of hype about this. Not about the NFL starting. Football starting, everybody's hyped up.
Oh, yeah.
There's not a lot of hype about the Patriots at all.
No.
And I'm like, what is happening? There's always this time of year that's like everybody's excited, Patriots and blah blah. There's only one word I can use to describe this. And I told you I wasn't gonna say the word, I didn't say the word in pre-show. And I said I was going to tell you what it is now. It is the one word that I can think of for this Patriots season is blah.
Yeah. Yeah. Hit the nail right on the head there.
It's blah. So let me ask you our first question. The first question is kind of one of those easy ones. But when you look at the preseason, first of all, did you have any expectations? And number two, what did you come out of preseason with this Patriots team this year?
Let me
that's exactly what I'm talking about. This exasperation.
No, but let me just ask the sort of question of when you say expectations, are you asking me my expectations for like just the preseason itself, or for like the regular season?
Yeah, I mean either one, but really just felt like I don't have any expectations for the preseason at all. Really.
I didn't
I
either.
expected
I
to see
mean,
something. I expected to see something. And I just want to get an idea of if you saw anything. Did you see anything? Was this boring? I mean, was this freaking boring? Did they
well,
show signs of life?
part of
That's
the
what I'm talking
problem,
about.
well, yeah, well, part of the problem is, I mean, you saw such. Let me think how to put this. You saw such a limited showing of like the key starters. Like basically, you saw the starters for what, maybe like a half of the last preseason game. I mean, you really didn't see them all that much. I really am not going to get too hyper focused on the backups. Half these guys are going to be playing. You know, how are you even going to be on the team once the season starts? So I really don't have like
Half of
any
them are not on the team anymore.
exactly. But that's what I'm saying. Is like half of them, like I don't. It's hard to get expectations about guys that probably aren't even going to be on the team once the season starts. So I guess really the only time that I kind of looked at to judge was the first half of that Vegas game. And it was probably the time where the offense played probably some of the worst football of the entire preseason. So that didn't really fill me, or the defense as well. So that didn't really fill me up with a whole lot of hope or good vibes. I think the key thing for me, Doug, and it's interesting to me because over the last couple of years, especially in what has been called the post Brady era, one of the key aspects to the team that people have been watching, have been sort of harping on negatively, has been the line play. Last year and into this season especially, it has not looked good. I mean, you look at the number of times last season, basically every other play, it felt like Mac was on the ground when making a throw. If not being sacked, he was being pressured, he was being hit. I mean, it just did not look good. And it's interesting to me, Doug, and I'll sort of make this comparison right up front, because as you know, my favorite collegiate football team is Boston College, who opened up their season this past weekend. And one of the things that and I'm going to talk about this more later towards the end of the episode, but one of the spots that I've seen with Boston College football has been the line play. Has been their offensive line play, and the fact that there has been some struggle there. And so I forget who I was talking to, but I asked the question kind of half jokingly, half seriously, which offensive line is going to be better / worse? Is it going to be the Patriots or is it going to be the Boston College offensive line? Because so far from what I'm seeing, neither one looks any good right now. And that really concerns me when coming back to the Patriots topic at hand, Doug. That concerns me because, I mean, Mac Jones is a good quarterback, but he's got to be able to have time to throw the ball and, have time to make plays. And last year, the most frustrating thing was that it was play after play of Mac there's Mac getting hit again. There's Mac getting rushed again. Like, especially against the upper echelon teams. Just thinking back to sort of the last image of that 2021 Pat season, the first playoff game, or the only playoff game, I should say, against Buffalo. Just Mac just constantly being under attack from the Buffalo defensive front, plus the inability to establish any sort of running game because of that struggle to win the battle in the trenches. So I think if I had to sum up my keys, or should I say key to the 2022 Patriots season, it would be the offensive line. I think that the Patriots season will go as the offensive line goes this season. And honestly, Doug, if that one half that we saw the starters in the Vegas game is any indication, it's not good. It's not good at all. I mean, it left me with night terrors about what this season could be if you see that type of play on a 17 game basis. So that's sort of in a long-winded way, that's sort of my thought on any sort of expectations, because I think for me it boils down to that one key.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with the assessment. I think part of that is there excitement for this particular season
No.
from the players?
Oh, from the
From the
players, yeah,
players.
from the players, yeah, absolutely, yeah. I mean, I
And
would say so.
I'm not really sure if I see a lot of that. And it's been explained just by people kind of being at the preseason games. I'm talking, the insiders. I'm not talking about the regular people like you and I that would go. Um, it's is there an excitement about the season? They're talking about specific players that are kind of going through the motions. They're not really into it. And I'm like, wait a minute. Isn't this supposed to? It's like football. This is a job. Isn't this supposed to be what we're all talking about? So I don't know. It's really strange that way. It's really very. And I'm trying to figure out whether my next question has something to do with it. And you know, talk about the confusion of everything that's going on. Bill Belichick has not really named a offensive coordinator and a defensive coordinator.
True.
I mean, is this something that is an issue? Is he calling all the plays? Who's calling the plays? Who's doing this? Because it was very defined before, especially with McDaniels here.
Yeah.
Very defined. It's not defined now. So
No.
Is it because it's so up in the air? It's like knows what's going on. Nobody knows what's happening. I don't know what your real thoughts on that.
No, I'm in complete agreement with you in the sense that I don't know I don't know who's doing what. I can't make heads or tails out of it. I'm sure that they know. I mean, both on the offensive side of the ball, defensive side of the ball. I'm sure that the players have more of a semblance, an idea than we do. And maybe just be sort of the fact that we're on sort of the outside looking in. But at the same time, you're right. I mean, that was sort of a mainstay for years, was Josh McDaniel at the helm of the offense. You always knew that he was, ultimately the one making the decision on those play calls. Now, you're right. You wonder, is it Matt Patricia? Is it Joe Judge? Like, what is the deal on defense? Say kind of the same thing. Like, who's bearing the load? Is it Mayo? Is it Steve Belichick? Like, how much of a role does Bill have in all this? It's very unclear. I think that leads to a lot of angst among,
confusion.
Yeah, it leads to a lot, and that leads to a lot of angst amongst us Patriots fans, because, like, in my mind at least, if you don't know who is taking charge of either side of the ball from a coaching standpoint, how can you trust that what you're seeing out there is going to be effective offensive strategy or defensive strategy? I mean, it's been very perplexing, to say the least, because for years we were so used to a team that had, as you said, defined roles, defined coordinators. I mean, first it was, obviously offensive side of the ball, you look at like a Charlie Weiss, a O'Brien, Bill O'Brien, a McDaniels. Defensively, Patricia for a while, Brian Flores in a sense, Romeo Crennel, like the list goes on and on. But now you don't have that, and I'm a little bit worried. I'll use the term worried about this whole coaching by committee mentality and what kind of effect it's going to have, or what effect it's already having on the ability of the offense and defense to be consistent and really get down the scheme and strategy on a game by game basis. Because if you judge it by the preseason sort of body of work, there was a lot to be desired, a lot of room to be desired there. So yeah, it definitely is worrisome from an outsider's point of view. I don't like not knowing sort of which way it's going to go in terms of who's making the final calls here.
Yeah, it's just it seems confusing to me, and I'm not playing. So I mean, who's running what? Who's giving what play?
Right.
What kind of input does Bill have? If you don't have defined, and on the flip side of the player side, if you don't have a defined coordinator, who are you going up to?
Yeah.
Except, obviously there's a linebacker coach and there's a quarterback coach, and those are easy. But when you're talking about defense and offense, who are you initially going to? Who are you eventually
listening to? Who are you listening
Exactly.
to? Yeah.
And what happens if, you have, Steve Belichick saying one thing and then Bill Belichick saying another? I mean, do you follow the head coach, or do you follow the guy who's been, mostly with you for the last, a couple of years through the preseason and stuff like that? I mean, it's just really confusing.
Mm-hmm.
And
Absolutely.
I'm trying to figure out why. I mean, I guess this is what's really confusing about this season is that I have no idea where they're going, where they're defined, how are they defining themselves as a team? I don't have any idea. They can't even define a coordinator.
Yeah.
How are they supposed to define themselves as a team?
Yeah.
This is the kind of thing that's really confusing to me. I don't understand what Bill's thoughts are. It just doesn't make any sense. It's kind of it's like out there. It's not. It just seems like it's not just a confusing thing, but it seems to me like the actual players are not liking a non-defined kind of situation with coordinators and finding out what they need to talk.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that will bite them in the butt as we start the season and continue with the season. I think there's going to be dissent because professional athletes have dissent. So, and it's just,
especially when things aren't going well, like you're losing
Correct.
you're losing games. Like
Yes.
dissent can grow very quickly if you're on a bit of a tailspin in terms of record wise.
Right. Absolutely. I know you said in pregame you don't know about too many of the moves that they made, but that was one of the questions I kind of asked is do you think
I know Devontae Parker. I know they got Devontae Parker.
Well, yes. I mean, do you think that they have improved? They got rid of some dead wood. I won't mention any names. Wide receiver we won't mention. Who, by the way, is now hurt.
Yeah, I know.
Did you see that? I was
the guy can't stay healthy. I mean, I'll tell you, it's crazy.
I mean, if anything, it's definitely good just to get rid of him.
Yeah, I mean, we should have gotten rid of him like last year, or the year before. I mean, this has been a saga that has just gone on, and I'm glad that I hate to say it, but I'm glad that he has moved on to, I'd say, greener pastures, but the way things are looking right now, they ain't always that green.
No, and I'm glad they did too. I think they were just giving him a chance to be able to a chance. There was a small percentage. But just trying to get it out there.
Yeah.
Typically in these kinds of things, we would go over, sometimes in a preview, and I'm not ready to do that tonight because I'm not prepared to do that. But to go over, the offense, go over the defense, go over, not necessarily all the players and who's there and who's not there, but is there anybody that you're looking at right now, just out of the players that and again, I'm not asking for 12 players to look at, but is there any one or two players that you're looking to see? Number one, how they do. Number two, if there's any improvement, if they've been on the team before. Is there any one or two players that you're actually looking at? Defense, offense, special teams, doesn't matter. All phases of the game. Thought I'd throw that in there.
Yeah.
Is there anybody? Yeah, is there anybody that you're like, oh, I gotta watch this guy?
Well, it's gonna sound cliche. I mean, I know it is, but I'm gonna roll with it, and that's Mac Jones. I mean, I'm just very curious to see.
That's the natural answer.
Yeah, what I know. Believe me,
It's fine. It's fine. I'm just saying that's that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very curious to see. I mean, is there gonna be, is he gonna improve from his rookie year last year? Is there going to be, and I hope that there's not, but is there going to be a sophomore slump? The term you always hear about. I mean, what are we going to see out of Mac Jones? He, from what I heard and from what I observed, was not necessarily looking sharp at times during the preseason, during training camp. So, yeah, so obviously that is concerning. But I think I'd have to go, like I said, with Mac, and then the offensive line, just as kind of like a unit. Like, what are we going to see? Are they going to protect him better? Is he going to be hit even more this year than he was last year, which is very hard to replicate. I mean, offensively, those are the two big things that I'm looking for in terms of what are we going to see from sort of last year to this year in particular. And then defensively, you look at a player like Judon, who had a great year last year. What are we going to see out of him? Defensive line, played well at times last year. Are we going to see them, really step up and win those battle in the trenches on that side of the ball and, really disrupt the offensive backfield? DBs, we lost J.C. Jackson, to free agency this year. Obviously, our top corner. I mean, what is that secondary going to look like with him not in it? Is a big question mark to me. So, yeah, the special teams I'm not as much worried about. I mean, Folk did great last year. I have no reason to expect anything less this year. So I'm never usually that concerned, I'll call it, about the special teams, but obviously just as a whole, I'm just looking at both the offensive and defense and just sort of saying, just on a baseline, how are you looking as opposed to how you looked last year in terms of sort of on a consistent basis? And you hope that it would be better, but at the same time, there is some worry that it's going to go based on what we've seen in the preseason, that there may be some regression there. I hope that there's not, but that idea, that word is in play, and you never like to hear that going into a season, that people are talking about either side of the ball regressing, let alone both sides of the ball. Yeah, no, I very much agree with the assessment. On my end, obviously, it would be Mac. I mean, Mac's, he had a terrible preseason, and really looking to see if he. I know that there was a report out. I can't remember who said it. Somebody said it's because, he's been playing with players that he's not really going to be playing with, and all these excuses. I just want to see what he's going to be. What he's going to be like this year. Can he be as good as last year, if not better than last year? He needs to make that next year progression. Yeah. I understand about the sophomore slump and stuff like that. I'm hoping that he doesn't do that. I do want to see. Yeah, I mean, on offense, I want to see what Devontae Parker brings to the team. True. I think he's got something to prove out there, especially on Sunday.
considering they're playing Miami, right?
Yeah.
I think he's definitely got something to prove at his age, that he is one of the elite wide receivers. And I'm not even sure if he is that elite. And I'm not sure, what he brings to the table with the Patriots. I would like to see him. I am looking to see that there's some dissension with Bourne. Don't know really where it's coming from. I know they say he's unhappy. He's like fifth string right now. He's just playing horrible. And Bill was like, just go over there and sit on near the goalpost and turn around and was putting a timeout or something. I don't know. Anyway, and on defense, it's got to be Christian Barmore. They're saying this guy can be all pro pretty quickly.
Yeah.
I want to see what this guy can do. This guy is mammoth.
Yeah.
And I want to see. I am very excited to see what he can do.
Agreed.
That's kind of where I'm at. With the guys, I'm kind of excuse me, looking to see. I kind of wanted to, and again, it's one of those blah kind of situations. I'm not 100% excited yet. I'm excited about football starting, but I'm like,
yeah. Maybe
not,
I'll be more excited depending on the result on Sunday. I don't know. I mean, maybe after Sunday's game, there'll be a little pep in the step that I need if we can pull it out. I'm cautiously, I don't know if cautiously optimistic, but I'm sort of cautiously just sort of watching these first couple of games, just sort of see what kind of team are we going to get here.
Yeah.
I mean, it's because I think what it really comes down to, Doug, I think both have sort of established this. I just don't know what to expect. I have literally no idea going into a season what to expect out of this Patriots team, and that's not something I'm used to. I'm used to, at the very least, expecting them to make a minus maybe the 2020 season to make a run at the playoffs. This year, I don't know. I can see the thing going 100 different ways. Like,
yeah, that's the issue. I wanted to ask you, really quickly about the McDaniel thing, because I'm not sure if we really touched upon it. Do you think it was a good thing that they? I have mixed feelings about it. Finally letting him get out and go and do his own thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think I have mixed feelings as well. I mean, on one hand, I'm happy for him that he finally gets to sort of spread his wings and become a head coach, because I know that really seems like that's what he wants deep down in his career, is to be a head coach. I wish it could have been here. I totally understand the fact that maybe he just got kind of tired of waiting for Bill to retire. I mean, I don't know what was said back when he, sort of then subsequently left the coach job and came back here. But whatever it was, it kind of seems to have kind of petered out. If there was any sort of agreement there, seems to have kind of petered out, because obviously, he took the Vegas job and stayed in Vegas. So I'm happy for him. I'm sad to see him go, especially for the reason that we just touched on. That now basically you have two guys, one of whom was a special teams coach the first time around here, and one of whom has basically been a defensive guy now running the offense, which I find kind of interesting. If you'd asked me who would be my sort of top candidates to lead the Patriots offense, I don't think that Joe Judge and or Matt Patricia would have been at the top of my list for that job, but here we are. It's just kind of disappointing, honestly. It kind of let the wind out of my sails, because that was sort of the one constant was the McDaniels offense, and you had faith that Josh was gonna, sort of do his thing on the offensive side of the ball, and there was going to be that consistency there. And now you don't know what to expect, like we were talking about earlier.
Exactly. I have mixed feelings, and one of my feelings is that I wish he was here for Mac.
Yeah.
I wish he was here for Mac because I think with his offensive strength, I think he could have done really, really super well with it. Brought him to an incredible level. I think you're right. I think what Bill's trying to do is I think Bill's trying to beat Don Shula's record of most wins, and it's gonna take him a few years to do it. Excuse me. I didn't understand that.
Hi, Siri.
I don't believe I said I don't. It's not Siri. I have Android, but still, I didn't say.
I
that
don't know. I don't know who the Android person is, but okay.
No, it's Bixby, but I didn't say a word. So I don't understand. I don't understand. I didn't touch the phone.
Technology is what is listening.
My phone is haunted. But I think what it is I wish he was here for Mac because he would have been able to make this happen for Mac, I think, quicker. And I think with his experience, it just would have been a much better situation. I understand the fact that he wanted to go and do his own thing.
Mm-hmm.
I totally get it. He's like, Bill's going to be around here for a few years. Now, I don't know if I'm going to be asked in a few years to be a coach. So I want to go out and do it now. But again, the confusion of having all these coaches and defensive coaches doing offense, and it's just I'm trying to figure out what I'm trying to not say what I'm thinking, but I'm going to say it anyway. Is Bill okay? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if he's okay.
Yeah, it's a valid question to
trying to
ask.
figure out what his thinking is.
Yeah,
it's not.
I can't figure it out. I mean, we always like to say in Bill we trust, but I can't make heads or tails of what he's been doing, like this off season or even over the last couple of years. I mean, there's been so many questions, so many decisions where I kind of like have to scratch my head and be like, wait, what? What just happened? Like, what are we doing? Like,
No, I totally agree with that. I mean, I think a perfect example of this is now they typically go down to Miami, Robbie, a few days before.
Yeah.
Because Miami can be really super hot right now.
Yeah.
And they go down just to kind of get used to everything and that kind of thing. Used to the weather and stuff like that. It turns out that Bill decides he's going to go down 5 days before. Okay. Heard up front that it was a weather thing and just getting everybody acclimated. So they play in Miami. You know this, right? Obviously, because
I mean,
okay, South Beach. We're talking South Beach.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, where Bill decided to go was West Palm Beach.
Yes.
Which is about an hour and a half to 2 hours away. It is it's at a college campus that doesn't have a football team and doesn't have a football field. I'm not done yet. There's more. They have to bring they don't have a football field. So it's like a soccer field, but they have to bring goalposts. So how are you supposed to practice the goalpost thing, right? The field goals. Stuff like that. How are you supposed to they were brought in on wheels, but they're not the actual ones. They're the H kind that they used to have in the 1950s. And they're brought in on wheels and then anchored into the ground. Now, I'm not done yet. They have to get dressed at the hotel. What does that mean, Pats? Get on the bus, drive from the hotel's at least 20 minutes away. They have to drive 20, 25 minutes, with the pads on, go on the field, do practice. There's no facility to change. They get back on the bus with their pads on, with the cleats on and everything. Go back 25 minutes to the hotel. And it's interesting because there was a sports radio host that said, can you imagine the guys going into that particular hotel, all the business class people that are going in there, they have the martinis and stuff like that. And all of a sudden they hear on the granite floor. That's the cleats.
Yeah.
They're walking across the granite floor. It's like, what is this?
Yeah.
What is this professional football, or are we going back to the Rudy days? I don't understand this. I mean, are we in Hoosiers? I don't understand. I mean, do they have to know how tall the goalpost is? I mean, I don't understand. I mean, it's like Major League. Remember Major League? They started to take things away, like the plane. They went on the stupid bus that always smokes. They had an engine to run the sauna, the little whirlpool thing. They had to crank it up with an actual outboard engine because she was taking stuff away. I mean, I don't understand what he's thinking. I don't get. What is this?
I can't give you an answer. I have no idea. Like it's perplexing to me too. And I hadn't really heard like that in depth about the practice situation in West Palm. I knew they were practicing in West Palm.
Yes.
I heard that much, but to hear you just sort of lay out what sort of that entails, I'm just like sitting here going like, is this real life? Like, am I like watching a high school practice here? Like, what is going on?
So exactly, but is this going to make the morale better or worse?
I can't see how it's going to make it better. So that leaves you with only one option.
No, I'm not saying they have to have Perrier water and all this kind of. I'm not saying that, but still go to a college, go to a facility that actually
go somewhere where you actually have a working locker room where you can
they actually
take
have
a
a
shower,
football team
where you could actually like take your pads off at the field.
At least be able to change clothes and get on the bus and feel comfortable. Look at this, I'm all choked up.
I know.
I don't understand. I mean, do these guys need this? Because does he think that they're too spoiled? I mean, I don't know what this is.
Nope.
How is this going to be a real practice?
I don't have an. I really, honestly, can't even begin to speculate what is going on there. It's mind.
That's why I asked you before. Do you think Bill's all right or not? I don't know if he is or not.
Nope. I honestly don't have a clue. And I'm getting less and less sure by the minute listening to this conversation.
Exactly. That's why I don't understand it. It doesn't make any sense to me. Do you know he just signed an old ex-Patriots player today to the practice squad?
No.
Remember Marcus Cannon?
Oh yeah, I remember going Marcus.
Uh-huh. Well, he's officially signed and on the practice squad. I mean, does he really
good. He could stay there on the practice squad.
Does he think, is he going to sign Hightower next? I mean, what's? I mean, they kept his locker, right? I mean, is that what's next? I don't understand what he's trying to do.
No, he's going to sign.
By the way,
he's going to sign Larry Izzo next. He's going to go on just bring back the heyday team. Yeah,
I'm going to tell you this right up front. If he thinks that going backwards is going to help him,
nope,
it's not going to happen.
Unless you can convince number 12 to come back, you're going backwards ain't going to do anything.
Number 12 ain't coming back.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean.
No way.
That's my point. Is that like
Yeah, no, that's not going to even happen. So, I mean, again, I am in that realm of I don't understand.
nope.
I don't get it.
I don't either.
So I'm baffled, absolutely baffled about what's going on. So I'm not going to ask you your predictions for the season because I want to get into the season
good.
first.
Because I can't. Because I
Yeah,
wouldn't be
you
able
won't
to
be able
make
to
one.
answer the
I won't be
question.
able to make one. Yeah, I wouldn't be
So
able to make
all I want to do is find out what you think about Sunday's game.
um.
This should not be a hard episode, dude. This is the first time ever in the Sports Blitz. What is it? 8 years now? Sports Blitz.
What? Yeah, like it's got to be what? Like 5 years. 5 years. Yeah,
Is it 5?
because it was February of 17. Yeah, so 5 years.
Okay, so in the 5-year history of the Sports Blitz.
And by the way, can we just point out that the first episode we ever did 5 years ago was right after the Patriots had won a Super Bowl, and now here we are, just 5 years later, struggling through a Patriots preview episode.
Correct. That's exactly what I was going to say. It says first time ever that I am super struggling trying to get through this preview.
Yeah, I'm almost regretting like suggesting that we do a Patriots preview episode because of how much of a struggle it has been to try to make heads or tails of this. Boy, I'm just dropping football puns all over the place tonight. Sort of make heads or tails. I call heads.
Start the episode doing that too.
I call heads, by the way. And then in typical Pats fashion, I'll just defer the kickoff. But yeah, in terms of the Miami game, God. I guess it's like the Pats season that I could basically I'll sum it up by saying this. It's like the Pats season in the sense that I could see it going either way. I could literally see Sunday's game going either way. I think the big thing is defensively, can they contain Tua? Obviously, Tua is a very mobile, dynamic quarterback. Can they contain him, or is he going to run circles around him? Offensively, can the line give Mac time, and can they establish both the run and the pass game early on? Maybe go down, get an early score, take the crowd out of it, and sort of go from there. If they can do that, then they have a really good chance. If they start off playing from behind and just start off struggling, then it's going to be a very long, hot South Florida day for the New England Patriots.
They already have a home playing down there anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I just my honest answer.
They don't have a good record down
there. No. Miami is a house of horrors. I mean, literally, we lost in Miami on a kickoff of 400 laterals that drove Rob Gronkowski at one point the last line of defense to the end zone. I mean, that just goes to show you. I'm glad. I will say this. I'm glad they're getting the Miami road game off the bat early this year, so they don't have to worry about it in week 16 or 17 or 18.
Yeah, let's lose these games early so we can concentrate on the ones we
No, but all seriousness, like literally, like I would prefer them play this game week 1 rather than what it always seems to be, which is like the last week of the season when there's like a playoff spot or a first round bye on the line. That being said, I don't have a clue. I don't even know what the line is for Sunday's game. I think it's pretty close. I'm gonna do a quick little in-show research here as I.
Yeah, I'll just tell you what my prediction is.
Miami 3 minus 3.5 is the current line. So I think, I mean, to me, it could go either way. So that's what.
No, and that's exactly what I was going to say too. I mean, it could go either way for me too. I'd like them to come out, real hard and see what they could do. So I just don't. I have no idea. I really just don't have any idea. And it's been really, really difficult to like just like pulling teeth to get out of this episode. To get into it
Whose teeth though? Your
is
teeth or
difficult.
mine?
Is it? I still got my teeth. But I don't know.
Same.
I don't know. Somebody else's teeth, maybe. I don't know.
Bill Belichick's.
Bill Belichick's teeth, definitely. I guess to sum it up, I have no idea.
Yeah.
That's to sum up the
Yeah.
whole preview itself. I have no clue.
That's the name of tonight's episodes. I have no idea. The
I have no
2022
idea.
Patriots
I have
preview.
no clue. Blah. I mean, we're talking all kinds of different words, and they're not negative. They're not positive. They're like in the middle.
It's a wait and see. It's a wait and see preview is what it is.
Yeah, definitely. So we're gonna get on to kind of our half and half, kind of our final thought. And Robbie actually during the football season has decided to put a new spin on the final thought. So it's not going to be necessarily his final thought during the football season. It's actually going to be Robbie. Why don't you introduce it and you can just start it up.
Yes, thank you, Doug, for that intro. So during the football season, I'm actually going to be doing something. If you watch On a Couch Talking Sports, shameless plug, with Kyle and I, you'll see me do this during football season as well. It's called the Robbie's Favorite / Fantasy Football Recap, where I recap the week that was for my favorite teams, each the pro, college, and high school levels, and also recap sort of the week that was for me in fantasy football. Now, obviously, fantasy football has not really started because obviously the NFL season is just kicking off tonight, so I really can't do that part this week. So that'll be a going forward thing, and also pro and high school, are just kicking off this week. The Patriots, as we've been talking about, in Miami, and then Wellesley High School opens their season tomorrow night because we're recording this on Thursday. So Friday night with a visit to Longmeadow High School, way out west. I think it's still in the state of Massachusetts, but I'm not.
I bet you the Longmeadow
sure
facility is better than the facility that the Patriots are at right now.
Probably. But
considering they actually have a football team, like Longmeadow High School has a football team.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm with you.
Wellesley High School probably has a better facility than its college too, and so does Brookline High School.
Yeah, seriously. Wakefield High School. I mean, all these high schools, for that matter, have better teams and better facilities. But the one team that I can do a little brief recap on that did play to open the season is my favorite collegiate football team, which, if you don't know by now, is Boston College, who opened up their season against Rutgers. And speaking of bad offensive line play, the offensive line was, in one word, horrific. The offense struggled to get consistent play all game long. And the defense basically became gassed at the end from Rutgers having the ball for more than half of the time of possession. So long story short, Rutgers won 22-21. It was a 1-point game, so it was an exciting game. But unfortunately, Rutgers took their one and only lead of the game in the final 2 minutes with a touchdown drive that basically just sort of showed how gassed the BC defense was, as they could just not stop anything on that last drive. And like I said, Rutgers pulled out. So very disappointing opener for the BC football team. It definitely left a very sour taste in mine and the rest of the Eagle faithful's mouths, to begin what looked to be a promising 2022 college football season. Obviously, it's only week 1, so there's still a lot of football left to be played. But the road does not get any easier for the Eagles as they literally hit the road this coming weekend, Saturday, less than 48 hours from now to be exact, to take on Virginia Tech in always difficult Lane Stadium, one of probably the toughest places to play in college football. So definitely no rest for the weary, but we'll see if BC can kind do a little soul searching this week and bounce back and get that first W in the books on this new season remains to be seen. So so that's sort of like a little preview of what's to come this season for the new Robbie's favorite fantasy football recaps for the 2022 football season. And now to give us his final thought for tonight's episode, sort of at least half of our regularly scheduled programming, Doug, what do you got for us this week?
Yeah, I have Doug's sucky final thoughts.
Oh boy.
That's what I'm gonna do. No, I'm just kidding.
Do I need to leave the room?
No, it's okay. I'm just gonna have a little, very, very small, minute and a half rant about the international leagues of sports when players, professional players from here decide to go overseas and play for their country's teams and get hurt. And I guess
I know where you're going here.
I guess I have a little bit of a problem with this, because I mean, to be very specific, Danilo Gallinari was supposed to play for the Celtics. The worst case scenario, best case scenario is it was just a meniscus tear, which can heal fairly quickly with really rest and without surgery. Worst case scenario is a torn ACL, which they found out later on he actually has. So a worst case scenario is that it takes about 9 months or so, 9 to 12 months. So he's most likely done for the season. Now, he's also 34 years old, so it's not like we're not talking Jason Tatum here. We're just talking, somebody who can, help out. But still, it's these crazy FIBA leagues, which I think are great. Mind you, I think these are great. These are country versus country, and the FIBA leagues are wonderful. The issue I have is are these guys, and these guys are going to continue to play because they love playing basketball, so they're going to continue to play it. I get it. It's just really super frustrating to have those kinds of leagues together and to have situations where you're going overseas and then you get freaking hurt. And it was non-contact, which drives me crazy. And if it's non-contact, it's probably an ACL. I don't care what you think it is. That's what it is. It's just really, really super frustrating, considering he was really going to help us out and Celtics and like that. But it is what it is. And that's really what my final thought is.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get too much into it, except for the fact that these guys Rudy Gobert goes over there. I think he plays for France. So there's guys that go over. Luka Doncic goes over. I mean, these guys are really, really important players, and if they get hurt, their teams are basically screwed.
Mm-hmm.
In some cases. Are we screwed? No, we're not. Celtics are not. But again, he was a bench player, but still one of those things where we thought he could help out. So let's see what happens. But again, it's just one of those things where it's super frustrating to hear. Then you're like, why do these guys go over it? It's so stupid. And I understand it now. I get it. You want to play for your team. And if you can play basketball in the summertime, you do.
Yeah.
Keep in shape. So I get it. But that's my final thought for this episode. I don't know what to call it.
I feel like we just went to war for like
Patriots
40 minutes.
Quote unquote sad preview. Yes. Maybe. Melancholy preview.
It's about as good a thing as any to call it.
Melancholy preview. I don't know what to call it.
By the way, just very quickly before we go, quick update to the kickoff to the 2022 NFL season. After one quarter, Buffalo 7, the Rams nothing. So there you go.
Big game too.
Yeah. Should be
Hey.
a very exciting game too. So we'll see what the next three
Because
quarters bring.
Buffalo is supposed to win the East. That's what they're saying.
Buffalo may actually win the. I mean, Buffalo's one of the favorites for the entire AFC just in general this year.
Yes.
I mean,
Well, that's what I was saying. Yeah. I mean, I was saying that they.
wouldn't it be funny? Would it be? I sort of posed this on the good old Twitterverse the other day that in my ideal world, obviously in my ideal world, the Patriots would be in the Super Bowl, but since that is probably unlikely, if we're being completely honest, my ideal Super Bowl would be Bucks Bills, and Brady breaks the Bills' heart one more time before riding off into the sunset. So,
You mean the Bills still don't win a Super Bowl?
yeah, exactly.
That's just crazy.
At the hands,
awesome,
at the hands of Tom Brady one last time. Like it just would be quite a way to end. If it would be indeed the end of his illustrious career, it would be quite a way to end it. Quite a way to
That
go
would be
out
awesome.
on top.
That would be awesome. That'd be awesome. But hey, thank you very much for joining us on our Patriots preview episode. Remember to subscribe and hit the bell. Give us a comment.
Yeah,
we would love to know what you think the Patriots will do this year, and or who are you actually looking to watch this year in the NFL Patriots wise? Is it Mac Jones? Is it Christian Barmore? Is it who is it? Is it Parker? You name it, and just give us a comment. Load us a comment. We are on Twitter. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube. We're on. What did I forget? Anything?
that's it.
Yeah. So those three, and just remember to watch On the Couch Talking Sports.
New episode just
Robbie,
came out
Kyle.
recently.
There's an episode that's out, right?
Just came out on Tuesday. Yep,
Yeah.
new episode
Just
is
came
out.
out on Tuesday.
Yep.
Check them out. They talk about some great stuff on there. And again, it's two guys on a couch talking about whatever. Awesome. That you gotta love that. And then of course Marvel at the Movies with Kyle and I. I know we just did an episode. We do have another episode that's going to be planned quite soon. We just did one. Yeah, we just
A couple weeks ago, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it was a couple weeks.
Very recently, yeah.
Yep, a couple weeks ago. And we did it on horror. So it's very, very cool. So check out that episode also. By the way, it's we may change this around a little. It's Marvel at the Movies with Doug and Kyle. If you put that in, it'll go right to our episodes. We're trying to figure out how we can do that because once you hit Marvel on there, everything Marvel comes up except for our episodes. So
the Marvel verse.
It's the Marvel verse that's out there, and it's got billions of people out there that are talking Marvel. So that's just what it is.
I hear you.
And so did I forget anything, Robbie? I don't think I did.
No, just very quickly, a last shout out to our sponsors, Wes Woodson and Simon Organizing. Much love to them as always. Very appreciate their support. Yep, absolutely. And we're super excited about our upcoming episodes. And just subscribe and hit the bell, and we shall see you soon. On the Robbie's, where are you? Are you up and down now? I'm down.
Oh, you're down there.
I think
so. For Robbie,
I'm down.
That's Robbie down there. I don't know. It's not going to come out like that, but it's Robbie down there anyway, and I'm somewhere in the there. I'm somewhere. Who knows where I am? We had a great time tonight, and we'll see you on our next episode of the Sports Blitz. Thanks, and have a great day. Great weekend.
Take care, everybody.